These jobs don't care about you. They'll lay you off in a second. You should be your own boss. Y'all out here with a 9 to 5, and I'm out in Punta Cana. I'm living. You're not.
I'm seeing a lot of us staying at a organization or company way too long. We being way too loyal. I have a thing, it's called the 3-year rule. Baby, at 2.5 years, if they not talking promotion, you need to promote yourself out of the organization.
So you talked about LinkedIn twice.
Mm-hmm.
Is LinkedIn the place to be for us urban space girls? Hey, ladies, welcome back to Conquer Conversations, where we talk about real women conquering big dreams. So I'm in my talk show host bag today because I have my very first guest. Because I know you probably been someone into the podcast. You're like, girl, you just bring somebody on here, talk to somebody, have some girl talk. So that's what we're doing today. We're bringing in Chelsea Hampton, which is somebody that connected to. She lives here in Dallas. She's super dope. I really want to dive straight into our topic tonight, which is really people feeling pressure to have a 9 to 5. Okay. So, y'all know I founded Conquer. I love entrepreneurship. I serve women entrepreneurs and have for years. We talk about confidence, consistency. I mentor women. I speak. I love entrepreneurship so much. But I hear it time and time again that there's this like immense pressure. People are like, I gotta leave my job, 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 I gotta leave my job. That's all I hear people say. And I'm like, well, what's your plan once you do that? Or what's your plan for even the next 30 days? And there's nothing. And that's okay. But I think that is worth talking about. There is such a huge stigma around a 9 to 5. It sounds like a curse word around here, but we don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I don't want Conquer to believe in this. So let's bring Chelsea. We're going to talk about this. What's up, Chelsea?
Hey there.
Hey, we
I'm
can
so
start
happy to
here.
be here.
Yes. So me and Chelsea know each other in real life, and we're really going to be catching up and talking. I got to move my fan, child, because let's be running hot. I'm at the age where I just truly run hot. No matter if it's
I
snowing outside.
understand.
I'm running hot. I need the fan on. But I'm excited about this. I'm excited to talk to you. I love the work that you do. And I know we gotta go through our segment and stuff. I gotta be mindful of the time, but I've been loving the content.
Thank you so much, girl. You know, I learned from the best.
Girl, the content was given. What was that? That college they used to say, "Why you on the couch? She's been getting up, going to school."
Right, get your up off
Get
this couch.
up. Okay, so we're
Yeah.
gonna get into it. I'm gonna let Chelsea tell you all about herself. But y'all know my first segment is normally Deb's diary. So it's gonna be Deb and Chelsea's diary today. So we're gonna catch up with each other. So I guess Chelsea, let's start. Tell us who you are, how old you are, what do you do, and where do you live?
All right. I'm Chelsea Hampton. I am from Detroit, Michigan. I live in Dallas, Texas. And I am 31. I'll be 32 in a couple months.
Come on, 31, 32.
I am a career strategist.
I
And I
love it.
help women land a dream career or transition.
I love it. We're gonna dive into so much business tonight. But I guess when I think about Deb's diary and my update, like my week has been, you're here in Dallas, so we had just a tiny bit of snow. But I was on FaceTime with my cousins, and I've been talking to a couple of women about this, and you let me know what you think about it. We've
Okay.
been talking about that era where you're like a little over 30, and like you still feel young, jazzy, and sexy enough to do whatever you want to do. But there's like a wisdom that's coming where you're like, I tolerate that, don't tolerate that, and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about what this season of life is like for you. What you up to? What do you do on a daily basis? Family, you got a husband, kids, or what's going on? Tell us, please. Tell us the tea.
Yes. So I am married. So I don't have any kids. I do have a 9 to 5. And it's so funny because I just put my 2 week notice in at my current 9 to 5 because I'm going to a new 9 to 5. But
Oh, okay, okay, yes, but that's awesome though. So that means something better and bigger came along for you.
Yes, yes, something that I planted seeds a long time ago. Didn't realize that it was going to flourish, but I said, "Okay, it's time." So, yeah, that's what I've been doing, and honestly, I've just been trying to relax because just running a business is a lot, and
Mm.
juggling a 9 to 5 and being married, you got to make sure you get a husband time. You got to make sure you doing some self-care. You
Ah,
know, if you like the anchor of the family, even though I'm from Detroit, my family called me for everything. So, just trying to juggle everything.
yeah, that's a big one that I'm
Yeah.
trying to make sure I talk about a lot this year is we talk about work-life balance, but like really digging into it. I know me and you are a little bit similar in the fact that we're both married, but we don't have any children yet in the post-30 era. You
Yes.
know, so how is that season just for you, like as a woman, balancing it all? Like you said, you got to give hubby his time. I was just telling Chelsea before we started recording, like I cooked breakfast and dinner at the same time this morning because I was like, it's Sunday, my husband gonna be watching football, which he ain't gonna be stumbling around it, but still, I wanna. That feels good to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
How did tell us a little bit more about that for you?
So it's a good balance. Like my husband, he is very understanding. He has a lot of his own stuff going on. So us trying to balance us both having stuff going on, new transitions. So I do a lot of pre-planning.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can't cook, look, I'm not cooking today because I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired.
You know,
And
get some
he cool with it. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's a balance. But being 30 with no kids in this era, honestly, I'm enjoying it.
Same
Um,
here.
I'm enjoying it. I'm like the only person probably in my friend group. Maybe I might have a couple people who don't have kids, but for the most part, everybody got kids. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I got married really young, so that's another thing. I was the first person married in my friend group. I got married at 24. So,
Wow, I didn't
yeah,
know that. I got
yeah,
married really young. I got married super young too. I was the first person to get married, and like I said, I'm still standing. I still don't have these. So I'm the first one to get married, last one to have kids. So I didn't know
yeah.
that. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Yep,
y'all
so
been
we got
married for many
time
years.
with
So
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
y'all got a little time under y'all built in.
Yep, we going on 8 years this year.
Ooh, okay, yeah,
Yep.
you done been married a little bit for
Yeah.
real. When people say they've been married more than 6 7, I'm like, oh yeah, you married a little bit for real. 2 3 years,
Mhm.
engaged,
Yeah. Yeah, baby,
yeah.
2 3 years, you don't know nothing yet.
Once you get 6 7 years, yeah, babe, I'm married for real, girl. Let me call my husband. I ain't got time to play with y'all for real. Okay,
Mhm.
I love that. I love how you celebrated the season of now.
Yeah.
Feel like we're out there. Like it's a couple of us out there that are just like enjoying that season for whatever reason, right? Enjoying that season of hubby, a little bit more stability, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more professional networking and hobbies that we have, and no babies yet. So, do y'all want kids in the future?
We do. We do. We do want kids. We've lived in a lot of different states. So, but we have decided that Dallas is it. Dallas is it. So we
Mhm.
are at some point we will be working on
Yeah,
our family. Yep. So,
yeah.
yep. So
I'm here for it.
everything slowly falling into place. So, yep.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I truly am. I'm here for that. I feel the same. The only thing I don't feel the same about is staying in Texas.
Really. How long you been in Texas?
A little over 10 years.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
just want to see something else. I just want to see something else. Because I've only
Okay.
done Memphis and Dallas. I do want to live somewhere else.
Okay, well that makes sense. See, Dallas is
Mhm.
my let me see, my fifth place. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm tired, dude. I'm
Yeah.
tired.
You were
I'm-
settled down.
Yeah, that's it. But I get it. I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to pop your ish. This is something that if you've worked with me offline, you know that this is signature. I love us celebrating each other. When we do our Conquer Club calls on Tuesday night, this is the first thing we do. Somebody turn us up, tell us something about amazing you're doing, because I know how inspired I get. I can be on a 10 and I'm still gonna get inspired, and I can be on a 2. And even if you just give me from a 2 to a 2.5, that's worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I really want you to turn us up. Tell us about something amazing that you've done already in 2025.
Woo, 2025 has came in.
And give it, baby. Give it.
I'm
Give
coming
it.
in. With
Yeah.
So I applied for my first conference. So I was chosen to be a speaker at the Black and HR conference in ATL. Yes. So I'm a virtual speaker. So I've already recorded my webinar and sent it over. So I'm excited about that
That's so
to
dope.
get, yes, to get some different eyes on Careers Equipped. So that's exciting. And last year, and you noticed that last year I started Coffee and Chick Chat, which is my group for women to come and we're co-working and we're learning different career topics. Well, my first one of 2025 is here and it is next Saturday. And I'm switching it up a little bit. It's not at a coffee shop, it's actually at a juice bar. And
Oh,
yes, it's at a black owned juice bar called Squeezers here in Bishop Arts.
okay.
And it's actually my first co-ed one. Um, so it's a little bit different. And it's my first one that I'm charging for, which is I went back and forth with it, but I'm like, I'm giving some value, you know.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
I want to bring the people out who want to be out. So
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
so that's what I got going on already, and I'm excited about it. And yeah,
I'm here for coffee and chit chat so much. You said it's next Saturday
yeah, on the 18th.
on the 18th. Okay, good. I want to write it down.
Yeah. Yep. So
I'm
if
sorry.
you're free, you should come. It's gonna be a
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yes.
We
Perfect.
it's also it's my first sponsored event. So Vertex.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that.
Yes.
Okay, couple of things. Give us some sauce because you have an event that's sponsored. Tell us what that means, and you ain't got to spill all your tea. But how did that really come into play? What does it mean, like when you say you have your event sponsored?
It's so crazy because when I started Coffee and Chit Chat, I was like, this was gonna be a very laid back type of environment. I really didn't want too many other names attached to it. I
Mhm.
wanted it to be a space for women to come and not really feel the pressure, right? Um, well, Vertex Bank, I connected with them and we can talk about that, but LinkedIn is like my bread and butter.
Yes.
I connected with them on LinkedIn and I just nourished a relationship. I've done some things with them. They've invited me out to some things. And unbeknownst to me, they had their eyes on Coffee and Chit Chat
Wow.
and was open to sponsoring it. And I was like, oh wow. And they like to support businesses in the Oak Cliff area. So it was like perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm excited about that. They're going to be doing like a segment kind of talking about financial literacy. The juice bar owners are going to be talking about giving some wellness tips and talking about juicing. And then I'll come in and we'll be doing some career mapping and business mapping. Um, so I tell people it's not vision board, and there's nothing wrong with vision board, but it's very much more intentional and more detailed um of a plan. So yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes. So when you say that they sponsored the event, and like tell us what does that mean, like simply.
Yeah. So they paying for the supplies. They're they're paying for some people to get, some free items, um, paying for photography, pretty much anything that I felt that I needed for the event. They're paying for.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's so dope. I remember us talking about sponsoring events, all this stuff last summer. So to
Yeah.
see it coming to fruition I'm not surprised though. But I want to go to something else you said because you talked about this idea of, like women like us, we have our own communities, we
Yeah.
have our online communities, but we quickly learn, hey, I need to be hosting events in person.
Yeah.
And I know that I may need to do it for free or reduced price to learn, to see if people will even come and see what I got to work with. But you
Yeah.
get to a point where you're like, oh, they're going to pull up.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that space like it's time to charge? Because a lot of mission led women that I talk to, it is like a mind F word to get us to charge for something that we're passionate about and good
Yeah.
about and we're serving with our heart. How did you say, okay, no, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna charge for it?
It's so crazy you asked that because I was last year was the first year that I was doing it and I was going back and forth. But really what led me to do it is I noticed that people were getting the tickets, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it was like an overflow of people. But then the day comes and you have a quarter of the people who actually show up.
That's
And
true.
it's because they haven't had to make any type of investment. And I call it an accountability fee. Hey, because if I'm paying for something, I'm going. You know,
Facts.
you know,
Finna
even
rearrange my whole schedule. I ain't got time to run out to McDonald's. I got to be at this place at 2 o'clock.
exactly. Even if you only pay $15 for it, you still paid for it versus it's free. And my events are in the morning on a Saturday.
Mm,
So, it's already a struggle getting up on a Saturday morning, let alone this not like your typical networking event. We coming and we working. So you got to use your brain. So, I wanted to make sure that people are actually coming and getting those resources because, I'm gonna be there regardless if one person pull up or if 10 pull up. But if you got a ticket, I want you to make sure that you can actually be in the room. So
mm-hmm.
that's what really led me. It definitely was messing with me mentally. I'm like, oh, I really don't want to charge for it. I really want this to be a safe space. I don't really want to, do that. And I slowly crept my way into it. Probably my last two, I did like a donation thing. And I felt weird about that. And then eventually a lot of my friends, they was like, girl, you need to charge. They was like, because you're so passionate about what you're doing, even if you have kind of like a script that you going off of, hey, this is what we're doing, naturally you're gonna drop extra stuff because you're just passionate about what you're doing. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's time. It's time. I prayed about it and I said, okay, let me just do it. Let me do this thing. So yeah.
That's so good. Mm, I really struggled with that.
Yeah,
And some parts of me still do.
really.
Yes. It's crazy. It's I think sometimes my thing is this is so easy for me. And
Yeah.
I've literally been doing this all my life. It just never had a name. It never had a brand. It never had a thing.
Yep.
So I was really like, okay, how do you constantly exercise your mind to say mission and income, mission and income, mission and income for real? So
Yep.
I'm glad you said that. Okay. Okay. Well, shout out to Coffee and Chit Chat, honey. Y'all, if y'all in Dallas, y'all better become pulling up and catching this event. We will drop all the details. But I want to get into our uh, main topic,
Okay.
which is this idea of feeling this pressure to not even have a 9 to 5. Let's keep it 1,000. Like the pressure to not even have a 9 to 5, the pressure around, oh, I had my business for 5 minutes, for 6 months, for 2 years. It's time to go. This is the last year. I ain't working for nobody. Oh, I got a business and a 9 to 5. So much shame around it.
Yes.
Tell us about your thoughts on that, and then I want to dive into how does careers equip supporters doing that. First of all, off the rip, what are your thoughts when you hear people say, oh, I have a business, this is my last year, I gotta leave my 9 to 5, I can't do this, da, da, da. What do you think about that?
Transparently. When I hear people say that, I'm like, ooh, you have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first thing. Because people don't realize that you should use a job as a tool. It's a tool. That's even for if you don't want to have a business. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It should never be something where this is it, that's all. Like, no. And how the economy is now, everybody need to have something
Right.
additional.
Right.
Just like you talked about, you had to jump back into work. and
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of that going on, but it's just because businesses have ebbs and flows. It's up and down, up and down. And it's the same thing with 9 to 5s. You might be on top of the world at the 9 to 5, 1 year, and then the next year you looking like this not it. Or
Right.
maybe you got a different change in your family. Maybe you just had a baby and it's not
Facts.
working out. So
Yeah.
maybe for a year you got to take off of work. But guess what? You still need some income. So maybe you start a business and it's booming. So things just change. And my thoughts on that for everyone is just be humble about the experience, because where you're at now you might not be next year. It's just, and but don't be ashamed about it, because guess what, you got to take care of your family by any
Facts.
means necessary.
Yeah.
So that might be you starting a business or a side hustle, as some may call it, or it might be you going back to a 9 to 5. But there are different type of 9 to 5s too. Maybe you get in the 1099 position. I mean, it's so many different avenues. So people
Right.
just, especially with everything going on, you just want to keep that your options open.
Right. Right. I think for me, there was a time where even I talked about this when I first started the podcast. This what truly launched me into having the courage to have the podcast. Well, not the courage, but just wanted to talk about it because I found myself like, hey, I need to go back to work. I've been avoiding it. Um, am I about to be homeless? No, but I need to go back to work for stable income.
Yeah.
And I need to go back to work to be able to nurture what I've built. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so desperate for the dollar. I can't think straight. I don't have clarity. I can't snag opportunities the way I need to. I can't
Yes.
think straight. All of these things because I'm like, okay, well, I got to make, I got to
Yes.
make money. So I found myself going back to work and it didn't work out. Um, but I remember, and I talked about this on episode 1, the shame around it was so crazy, Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you got almost 10 years in HR experience. What, like, this don't make sense. I
Hmm.
want to talk about that shame.
Yeah.
And I want to use myself as an example and as a vessel because it looked good and sound good. But the reality is very different.
Yeah.
What do you think about people like me who may say, hey, I've been in business and it ebbs and flows. I need to go back and work, but I'm scared, I'm ashamed, and I feel like I failed.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just say to, first off, take a deep breath. Second off, give yourself some grace, because you're not the only person who is going through that. Even in that moment when you feel like it's just you feel like a failure, it's not, that's not the case. But also to think about it as you're doing this to fund your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've been seeing the different things that's going on when it comes to, black businesses and grants. They're
Yeah.
taking that stuff away.
Yeah.
So not everybody is fortunate enough to be able to lead a 9 to 5 and stay away forever, right? You have to get creative. So if that means you have to go back into a 9 to 5 to fund the business, come up with a plan saying, hey, I'm gonna do this for 6 months. I'm funding the business until I can come up with another plan for my business.
Right.
And a service-based business is
Baby.
so up and down. It's
You know how the EKG is with the heartbeat and it boop,
that's
that's
us.
it.
That's us every week. So, so
Yeah.
just one of those things where we have to give ourselves grace. We have
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Um, yeah, we have
Yeah.
to.
Do you think that there's also a lot of shaming from others?
Oh, that's a big one.
I
Absolutely.
follow and have seen so many people talk about you're a slave to the master. You
Yeah.
don't own your time. You aren't free. These jobs don't care about you. They'll lay you off in a second. You should be your own boss. Y'all out here with a 9 to 5, and I'm out in Punta Cana. I'm living. You're not. What do you
Yeah.
think about the online shame we experience?
I
Because
think
it
it's
got
I think it's crazy. It's definitely out there. I think it's crazy.
yeah.
It was, I'm gonna tell you a little story why how I started Coffee and Chit Chat was because of that same thing.
Okay.
Um, Me going to networking events and me realizing that my business is very different than anybody else's. My business is not targeted to entrepreneurs per se.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and going to these events, and I'm like, none of these people want to talk to me because I'm talking about getting in a lucrative 9 to 5, getting in a flexible 9 to 5. And in their head, they're like, baby, I'm about to drop this job.
Rich. Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Wow.
the shame is crazy, but and don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff is facts. They don't care about you, right? I tell people I'm a different career strategist than that you would, because I'm not gonna lie to you. They don't care about you. They will lay you off. You will get treated like dog crap. It's just how it is, especially being a black woman. It's and that's look, we'll be on here all night, me talking about
Mhm.
that. But
Absolutely.
you have to understand where you're at and what you're dealing with and
And
be
the
prepared.
reality. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. The reality and being prepared. That's what it is. But also realizing as a business owner, you're gonna go through some of those same things. Some of the same things that you think the man is doing. Yo,
Oh, I could talk
listen,
about that all night.
the
That
the
triggers my
the
HR
sister,
brain. Oh,
listen, the sister who you thought was gonna give you some tips and help you out, she ain't trying to help you. She see you as competition. So now what you gonna do?
mm-hmm.
Same
Mm,
people who thought you thought that was gonna put you on, they not.
yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point. That makes my HR brain so triggered because you're right. As an employee, employer, it's so many different
Yeah,
things inside of that. And some of the employer things that they do, I get it. I've
yeah,
been the one to do the layoffs that you didn't see coming 2 weeks before Christmas. It sucks.
yeah,
But if we didn't do that, none of us gonna be here.
yeah. Absolutely.
You know, in this, it sucks. But so yeah. But yeah, I just think that I just want people to see women like me and you say, hey, they are shaming us about working. All of these things can be true. Entrepreneurship is amazing. Everything you think it is times 10. Having a great 9 to 5 is everything that you think it is times 10 too.
Yeah,
Because my last 9 to 5 was amazing. I loved it. It helped me fund when I did the rebrand to Conquer. I was baby, them paychecks that were going straight to this.
yeah.
So okay, let's rewind a little bit. Tell us about Careers Equipped. When did you start? Why did you
Okay.
start? Take us back to like when you started this stuff.
So I started Careers Equipped in 2022. No, 2021. 2021. So the reason I started it, so my background is in law enforcement. That's what I went to school for. I always thought that's what I'm gonna do. That's what it is. Well, I was struggling. I was living in DC, working for the feds, dealing with everything you could think of, down to racism,
Hmm.
sexism, ageism. I was very young, starting off, dealing with all of that. and not being prepared, not having the tools to navigate. I didn't have that stuff. I was the first in my family to do anything like that. So I didn't have, a mentor per se to say, hey, you're going to go through something and you got to learn how to navigate. Girl, didn't have it. Emotional intelligence down to the ground. So didn't understand how to navigate. So I started jumping around. I was jumping from different agencies. I did a lot of contract work. Then I decided, okay, well, maybe federal law enforcement not for me. Let me jump into local. So I started working with a couple different police departments, and I'm like, it's all right. Okay. Um, my dad got sick. Me and my husband moved from DC area to back to Detroit, and I was working for Detroit Police Department. And it was the probably one of the best jobs in my law enforcement career. The best. Just was very underpaid and very overworked. Then, and our goal was to move back to the DC area. But guess what? COVID hit. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
COVID hit, and we're like, my husband like, oh, we might have to stay here for another year. I'm like, oh no, we gotta go. I'm like, so I started looking around, and that's when I found a job here in Dallas, working for a police department here. I won't say the name, but working for a police department here. And girl, the worst job I ever had in my life. I'm telling you, worse than the federal stuff. I mean, horrible. So in that moment, I started looking for stuff, but nothing really sticking. And I'm like, okay, kind of in this dark hole because I'm like, we didn't moved here, and I don't like this job. Like, and I didn't move my husband all over the USA. This like the third place I didn't moved him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is just not working. So for real, Deb, I wound up going into like a small depression. Um, I got into some therapy because I'm like, is something going on that I need to figure out? Um, and then from therapy, I wound up coming out of it and I was like, okay, I need to come up with a plan. And I started doing some research and I said, I need to transition myself out of this. So, just a little backstory. I've always been a person that people come to and ask for advice on their career. Or, Chelsea, can you look at my resume? Or what you think about this? Because everybody always saw me and they're like, girl, you always got a job. You always got a good job. How you do that? So I've always been that person, but never thought that I would start a business doing this. So to fast forward back to, after therapy, I said, you know what? I did the research and I said, you know what? I'm going to transition myself into corporate America. So within 9 months, I was in corporate America after starting this job down here. That was the horrible job. Started there. When I tell you the best decision I could have ever made, the best. Because guess what? More money and the flexibility. So, and just like you brought up, it allowed me to space in my mind to be able to be creative in another way. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my business. I said, there are other women who going through this or who are going to go through this. So I want to start my business. And girl, I started it. And, never thought about starting a business. Me and you, we wound up connecting a couple times, and I was just looking for help because I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I need to figure out what people need, and yeah, that's how CareersEquipped came about.
So tell us about the services that you offer.
Yep. So I offer resume services, LinkedIn optimization, interview preparation, salary negotiation. I also do a full blown client. So a client would be with me for at a minimum 10 months because it takes time. So we starting from the beginning to the end, starting from personality test assessments all the way down to the salary negotiation once you actually land a job. And recently now the climb. my group coaching cohort. So yeah, those are the services that I'm offering currently.
I love it. Okay. So you talked about LinkedIn twice.
Mhm.
Is LinkedIn the place to be for us service based girls?
It is. It is. And the reason I say it is because when you service-based businesses, and you know this, service-based businesses are, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially on the B2C side, the
Mhm.
business to consumer side, because your business is basically relying on a person who decides that they trust you and they want to, you know, make an investment. But oftentimes it's very hard to find that person. Um, but on LinkedIn it's good because if you're trying to get on the B2B side, oftentimes that's where the companies and organizations are. They oftentimes they're recruiting on there, oftentimes anyway. You can find some people who may need services as well on there, and most times they're more serious
Yeah.
because they're already putting it out on there like, hey, I need this, I need this, can somebody help me?
Hmm.
Nothing against the other social media platforms, but LinkedIn is primarily for business purposes.
No shade to Facebook and
Yeah.
RIP TikTok. Hopefully not.
Oh, hopefully not. Oh, hopefully. Yeah,
Oh, I
about
want them to get rid of like. What is y'all like?
you know, I
Oh
be playing my trip.
no, like no,
Yeah,
like yeah. How I'm supposed to Google stuff? Like what? No.
exactly.
Okay. So you talked about resumes and interviewing. What are some of the things that you're saying that let's talk about age of 30? Um, what are the trends that you're seeing, or what are the red flags that you're seeing with us? Career progression, staying on the job too long, too short, resumes. Like, what are you seeing going on with kind of like our age group and stuff?
I'm seeing a lot of us staying at a organization or company way too long. We being way too loyal. Um, I have a thing, it's called the 3-year rule. Baby, at 2.5 years, if they not talking promotion,
Promote yourself.
then you need to promote yourself out of the organization. Um, it's not a thing like when our parents were working, staying somewhere for 30 years. That is like none and void. And even when they did it, they probably shouldn't have did it either.
It's so funny because you're right. And the reason why me and Chelsea, we already met so well, but we can talk a little industry stuff is because I got a background in HR and I know Chelsea, like she gets it. And 100% correct. If you're not at the top of your team, I tell people this, they think I'm BSing. If you're not at the top of your team and your soup leader director is not talking about actively putting you in this role or promoting you, do not be loyal to the supervising the team. Do what you're supposed to do it with a smile, do what you're supposed to do. But like you said, I love what you talk about, kind of like this 3-year rule. It's time to go promote yourself.
Yeah.
Like off the rip. Go get you 10, 15 more somewhere else, and let's
Mm,
go.
yeah. And you probably can get more than that. That's the crazy part about it that people don't realize. Staying at that company, they if they promote you, you probably gonna get 5, 7K, maybe.
That's
That's
true.
that's maybe.
That's
And
true.
not realizing that all doing more work gets you is more work.
Will work.
It don't get you a promotion. Cause I've been there.
Yeah. What about for those of us who, let's say both of us, for example, and even I can think about a lot of friends and people I know, we're really doing businesses that we truly love.
Mhm.
Like our businesses, no matter how scared we be sometimes, they truly light us up. Um, and then we have, our career, day job. Like, what is the advice on when to prioritize, not prioritize? Because there have been times in my career when I was just working in HR where if they needed somebody to go out of town, like I was there, I was learning, that allowed me to progress quickly, get in good with the VPs and the directors and stuff because I'm putting that time into my career. and it works. It
Right.
works for you to be able to climb the ladder. They can see what you can do. And I've also had seasons where, baby, at 501, don't call me, don't text me. I'm working on Conquer. I'm trying to grow this thing over this weekend. I'm trying to go speak. I ain't trying to do nothing. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do we wrap our mind around how to navigate and juggle both?
So honestly, I think it's depending on what season you in at the
Yeah.
moment. It may be a season in your 9 to 5 where you like, I have to grow because guess what? Maybe I need more financial support for some goals maybe that you have. So maybe you're doing a little bit of extra.
Yeah.
But maybe you got your business and you like, really, that's my bread and butter right now. Um, don't be emotionally attached to 9 to 5. Do your job, go home and work your business. That's where you put all your emotions and your feelings and everything. But that 9 to 5, you don't put that emotion in there. Because that's
Yeah.
one thing I do. I,
Mm,
girl, I could care less about the type of work I do at the 9 to 5. I
yeah.
I do it well, but it's not it's not my bread and butter. So I'm not if something happens there, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. Like when I was younger, it affected me. It bothered me because I was like, "Oh, this is what I want to do. I've always wanted to do this." This
Mm,
is like, you just have that when you like in your 20s, you got that eagerness about being in your career and it's just different. It's just
yeah.
different
A
now.
corporate job with regular clothes and stuff.
Yeah, now I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's cool. Thank you." I don't care. Like I'm about to go home and record content. I'm about to go home and talk to a client. So
Yeah.
it's just basically prioritize whatever season you in. Prioritize, and
Yeah.
don't feel bad about prioritizing. You if you have to prioritize 9 to 5, then prioritize it. It's nothing wrong with that. Like I
Mm,
said, you got to pay your bills. You got to take care of your family. So if that's what is important, then at the moment, then take care of that. But if you good over there and you have the flexibility and the time to work in your business and really go above and beyond, then do that as well.
mhm.
Yep. So just balancing and knowing what
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. Let me ask you this because that's really good. I love how you talked about like it may be a season to where you might have to lean into your career bag. And it maybe you in accounting and at the end of the quarter you were like, oh God, okay, for these 3 days I gotta lock in and
Mhm.
I'm pre-record my live and I know whatever that is. Or sometimes you gotta come off work, be a little tired, but
Yeah.
just rock it.
Mhm.
If we kind of segue a little bit because with Conquer, like we've always kind of started off talking about marketing and sales and stuff, but what I'm really trying to shift to is like the whole picture of the woman.
Yeah.
Um, so we have career, we have work, our passion, business, whatever. We have partners and family, and then we have just us. So if I take off careers equipped, and you can just tell me a little bit about Chelsea. Tell me about you outside of like your titles and roles that we have to play for some people.
Yeah.
Because you're a leader, you're a business owner. That's a lot. So tell me just about you.
I love to dance. I am a happy hour girly. I
Yeah.
love to go to happy hour. I'm a foodie. Baby, I love to eat. I I love to try new restaurants. And I've been really big on my self-care. So I give me a massage once a month. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to get a massage. But overall, I love my family and friends. So I love to be out in the city, trying new things, and just having a good time.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love Where did you get your confidence from? Is this something you always had? Did
Yeah.
somebody instill it in you? Or because I love how you are because you can be in your career bag, entrepreneurship bag, and still be the girl that I'm finna kick me like it's Friday. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get to the happy hour place by 6:30 to get there $5. And we can just kick it and just be girls. We don't
Yep.
have to subscribe to a narrative of if we are the happy hour, we better be talking about LLCs and business credit.
Yeah.
And me and I talk about entrepreneurship more. Like, no.
Yeah.
Where did that confidence come from to say, hey, I could be multidimensional and I can be cool with that?
You know what? I feel like it's always been there,
Mm-hmm.
but just me having to experience things and go through things. Um and honestly, me moving away from a familiar environment has helped
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost, it's a life hack. I tell people,
I,
if you haven't done it at least once, I recommend it, because it takes you out of your comfort, and it allows you the freedom and the space to figure out who you are, figure out who you want to be. You know, you may look at certain things like, I don't really like that. So that really honestly helped me a lot, just moving away from home and trying stuff, even if stuff didn't work out, because it was plenty of times where I failed, and but I kept trying. Um, and just being surrounded around different women who I look up to and say, you know what, I really love it. And really not knowing like the background of the person, right? And everything that they go through. But you know, on the surface looking like, oh wow, she dope. Like I really want to, you know, exemplify that myself. So really just constantly honestly working on myself. The self-care is huge. And I'm real big on blocking out the negatives. I don't want to talk about the negatives. I don't want to gossip about nobody. I just want to, now if somebody got something great going on, that's great, you know. But I just want to be in a positive space all the time. And like I said, I know it's not realistic all the time, but even for me, I know if I'm not in a positive headspace, you're not gonna see me out at a networking event. My content is most of the time my content is pre-recorded anyway, but I'm probably not going to be online. Not really going to be talking on the phone because I'm in a funk. So I rather just keep to myself until I feel better. So just having that self-awareness
yeah.
has really helped me as well.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm like that too. My misery don't like company.
No, mine's either,
My
dude.
misery don't like company. Um, I think that what we do, the type of work that we do, especially for the ladies that are listening that have their own business, and I know I keep talking about this idea of work-life balance, career, making time for the career, the day job. Let's do it. Make
Mm,
time for the business, make time for home. It's a lot.
it is.
It's like even the dopest people that we watch and see, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I just want women to hear, maybe like when you say self-care, what does that mean to you? Because you know, you talk about massage, people may think nails, people may think I think hobbies, I think interests,
Mhm.
I think just having something separate from my titles. Ain't got
Yeah.
nothing to do with conquer, ain't got nothing to do with being married, ain't got nothing to do with, being this Dallas. Da, da, da. It's just something I'm just doing random. Don't nobody follow me. I'm just here like when you say self-care and take care of yourself, like give us the specifics. Like what do you mean when you do that?
Yeah. So for me, with me having a 9 to 5, I make sure I call in to work at least a couple times out of
Can
the month.
somebody say take your PTO in 2025?
I
For
call,
real. Every ounce of it.
yeah, and
Ounce
they
of
don't have to know why. Just call in,
Elsie. Sam,
girl.
people, if you don't call in on a random Friday, be for
Listen,
or random Monday, be for real. I
and
love this.
sometimes I call in and nobody knows. My
Yeah.
husband don't know. My mama, my daddy don't know. So ain't nobody calling me, blowing my phone up. Baby, I'm off.
Mm,
If you got a dog, go put the dog in the dog daycare and go on. Listen, and you could come home and just lay in the bed. That's self care. Self care might be you just getting in the bathtub and you reading a book. You know, just for me, just kind of separating yourself from the world is self care.
that's good. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, just like separate from everything and focus on you. Last year, when you talked about hobbies, last year I really got into fitness. I've always been a person who struggled with fitness. But last year I said, you know what? I hate going to the gym. I'm not going. And my husband is the total opposite. He is a fitness buff and he want to go to the gym and he like hardcore. And I'm like, I cannot do this with you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I cannot. I got to do something else.
Yeah.
So I started doing boxing and Pilates. And that's my thing. That's what I do. I might switch it up a little bit here and there, but that's what I do. Um, so that's a part of self-care because it make me feel good afterwards. So yeah, so just finding stuff that make you feel good is self-care. So
Mhm.
that day, sleep might make you feel good. So that might be your self-care that day. Taking yourself on a date, that's self-care.
Ah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. I'm due for it to take myself out. It's been a little minute. So
And
yeah.
yes, I love that. Something that separates you from the world. And you can define whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
If that's going to get a 99-cent ice cream cone and sitting in the park and just looking weird, if that's what you want to do, then like for real, I'm
Yeah.
talking about just going to get a McDouble and just going to sit. Just put my feet on some grass. Just do
Yeah.
something. Just me
Mm-hmm.
and understanding like the choice that we have to just take care of ourselves. Because
Yep.
sometimes I think it's rooted in us. You can tell me what you think about this. It's rooted in us to nurture and care. Like me talking about the Sunday dinner. Did I have to cook? No. Are there kids in the house? No. It's like no. But it makes me feel good to know that it's Sunday.
And it's
And,
done.
like it just makes me feel good. But in that same breath, we'll put these expectations on ourselves
Ooh.
to be all of the things. And this is why I tell people limit your scrolling because you will look at my content or somebody else. Oh man, they'll be cooking for her husband and she be running her business and she be doing events. And every time I see her, she did like, baby, that is not my reality. That's not
What
my
was
reality.
it?
That was what I curated to show you based
Mm,
off what I want you to experience when you follow me.
yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
What do you say to the woman that's on social media that's watching women like you do the content, do the amazing things, and like just encouragement for her to just continue to just keep moving? Like, how do you stay encouraged?
Honestly, I don't put no pressure on myself. I give myself a ton of grace. That's not something that I've always done. And
Mm-hmm.
even sometimes I have people surrounding me who will tell me, Chelsea, you are going too hard. Sit down. Um, just give yourself some grace and understand that it's okay. If one day, maybe next week, you can't record for 5 days,
Yes, yes.
pull
Say it.
that content from 3 weeks ago because the way these algorithms work, they probably ain't see it no way. So
I ain't see it and don't remember, and you barely remember. So you know we
exactly,
know.
just
Mm-hmm.
pull it and repost it. When it comes to cooking dinner, especially like for us, we don't have kids. Our husbands half the time, babe, they don't care. They they want to go out to eat more than us. So it's just give yourself the time and the space. Now, if you having a great day, maximize on how you feeling that day and get done what you can get done. So the days I usually give Sundays for my day for content and anything I need to do around the house. But sometimes things come up, or maybe you're not feeling good, and maybe you're not feeling like yourself, and that's okay. Maybe they won't get no content this week, and that's okay. Just not putting that pressure on yourself and just realizing that you're human, you're a woman. It's already a stigma that we do everything and we're supposed to do everything, which is not true. It's not true. Like I tell people, I don't want to do everything. I don't want to. My husband used to tell me that all the time. All you got to do is just ask, and I'll do it. But you just do it because you think you have to, and I'm like,
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
mm-hmm,
That's
yeah.
good. Don't, girl. Okay. What are For people who want to navigate a career change, your last question, navigate a career change, jump back into a 9 to 5, what is your advice?
Research, research, understand what industry you're trying to jump into.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you had goals to jump into a certain industry, but maybe life happened and you're a different person. So
Mm-hmm.
what you thought you wanted to do, maybe it doesn't align anymore. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Get some help.
Yeah.
It's so many different things that should be done before you just take that leap
Mm-hmm.
into a 9 to 5 or out of one.
Mm-hmm.
So many different things you have to do. So just take your time, come up with a plan. That's really my main thing. Come up with a plan because you would hate to put all this work in, get a resume done, interview, get into this job, and it's not it. It's not it. Or maybe you still haven't, maybe you got some job trauma from the past couple jobs that you never worked through. And now the job
Mm-hmm.
trauma is popping up. So maybe you need to talk to somebody, and that's okay too.
That's real. That's real. Oh, girl, I might have HR trauma. Shoot. Baby, the pandemic took a number on me. I didn't even, and
Mhm.
now I am. It's between the pandemic and HR, and me trying to go back into. I'm gonna tell this story really quickly.
Okay.
When I tried to, I had been working in HR, started doing Conquer full time, and then when I went back, I was applying for jobs, Chelsea, and I said, well, let me go back into HR because know it like the back of my hand, right? So I noticed, and maybe you can speak to this too, and this could be the last
Okay.
question. I'm like a preacher. I'm like, this is the last scripture. This is the last song. But when I started applying back to get into the industry, I felt like I had to one dumb down
Mm.
what Conquer is and what I did with it because I felt like, well, and I've been on the hiring side, so I'm trying to think it's both. I felt like if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, especially because of I'm a person, my personality too. Um, I'm thinking nobody's gonna hire me because they see that I'm a business owner. So my first thought was dumb down what I did with Conquer and really put myself back to where I was before I started
Yeah.
instead of this is where I am now embracing what I've done and built and using that as a huge career milestone
Yes.
and making it make sense on my resume to where I don't have to belittle
Yeah.
or you know what I'm saying? Because I was talking to ChatGPT and that was like, I mean, you're a program director, you know what I'm saying? Like you done built out this, did
Yes.
this, hosted events and differences. Like you have put your program like and just giving me the perspective of you don't have to remove the entrepreneurship you can frame it in a way to where it's still been a career building block. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? But I wouldn't think like that. When I apply for a job, I think, well, they don't want to hear I've been self-employed, so let me just say it's been this, and then just get back into it, and not. I say this because I'm really on this big journey of self-acceptance, like really not accepting
Yeah.
can bring to the table now. Because if anything, I'm sick of beast. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about that? Do you
You
see that?
know, I do. A lot. I've had a few clients who have struggled with that. And I tell them you have to understand the climate is so different
Mhm.
in the 9 to 5 space. They know that most people have a business. They know that already. That's why they have these things where they make you fill it out to say, hey, do you got a business? They just want to make sure it's not a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
But they already know. So just like you said, you just frame it in a way where it shows those transferable skills,
yeah,
which is a huge thing. Them transferable skills are huge. Just highlight them. And like you said, chat GPT. People people steer away from that. And I don't know why. Use chat GPT because it'll help you frame it to where it makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think definitely put it on the resume.
Yeah.
Definitely put it in there because otherwise they're gonna be like, okay, what you been doing?
Yeah.
They're
Like,
gonna be like, okay, like what's going on? Versus you maximizing your business and everything you do in it and really showing that, hey, I can do this and this.
mhm.
You know, it's gravy. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
love I love that. So I had to say, and that got me to the conclusion that okay, well, I was again acting out of desperation that HR isn't where I want to be. Is I want to be somewhere in alignment with this, but not, like
Yeah.
I'm seeing that I thrive in mission led organizations and communities. So I was like, well, what if you're the program director, program manager at such and such nonprofit to empower, da da da. Chef's
Yeah.
kiss. Voila. You know what I'm saying? Background in hiring, interview, employee relations, HR, program manager, built this program, did the Conquer Club, did it. But
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize too, if you like for instance, you full-time entrepreneur, 1099 is so perfect.
oh, my friend said they said just look at them. It's a lot of nice contract stuff too. This is a lot of nice six-figure
Yes.
contract stuff on
Yes.
LinkedIn.
And it's perfect for someone who's been in an entrepreneur space full time for a long period of time because you still have that flexibility in schedule, right?
Yeah.
You're still gonna have to, carve out time for that organization, but it's better because you can negotiate the contract in your time. So a lot of people don't really focus on 1099, but I think it's like an amazing thing to do, especially for service-based businesses like us.
Mm-hmm.
In a 1099 type of role, like I was looking at some stuff at different universities. All universities got career centers, right? All of them.
You're right.
So I'm
So
like, maybe y'all can hire careers equipped 1099, and I'm gonna do what the other career person do as well.
facts.
So
I'm glad
yeah,
you mentioned that. I need to go back and look at some of the contract stuff.
yeah.
Oh, girl, that was good. Okay, let's do a very short round of Conquer versus Cocktail. This is a game that I started doing. So I started doing my signature networking event, Conquering Cocktails, in 2022. And when I was doing a networking event, I was like, well, we need some questions to ask each other because I'm noticing that my audience, we are a mix of amazing business talk, strategy, and scaling. And then the other half of us is like, girl, we need a little girl talk, right? So I created this game called Conquer Cocktails, and you can pick a question. So you can pick Conquer. Those questions are about business, about scaling, about your accomplishments, or you can pick cocktails, which is more spicy, girl talk. Blah, blah, blah. So I'll ask you for your first one. You want to
Okay.
do Conquer or cocktails?
We're gonna start off with cocktail.
Okay, let's do a cocktail. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay. Have you ever stalked a guy?
Stalk the guy. Yeah, my husband.
I didn't know where you was gonna go with your phones a little bit. Okay, so you stalked hubby a little bit. Was this pre-marriage or post-marriage?
This was pre-marriage, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mhm,
What happened?
mhm. Um, so it's so crazy. Me and one of my old friends, we would go around the campus and just be staring at guys, just weird, just messing with them because we knew he was cute. So we just gonna, mess with him. So this particular time, we was staring at him, and he really took it to heart. And I wound up seeing him later at like a club event, and I went with my homegirl she was like waiting for a guy or something. So I went with her just like as her wingman. And me and him, he came around to me. It was kind of like a speed dating event. But
Oh,
they were like asking questions just to get to know people. So I wasn't really like thinking about it at all. And it came around to me and he was like, forget the question on the board, you know, tell me about yourself. So I was like, oh, okay, hold on now. Hold
yes.
on. And girl, I was asking everybody. I'm like, who's this guy? Girl, I was asking everybody around the campus. Like, I never seen him. I don't see where he be at. Where
Yeah.
is he? I need to find him. Straight stalking them, girl. Looking on social media. I'm like, look, that's when Twitter was like real popping. Girl, I'm
Yeah.
on Twitter. Like, I gotta find him because hold on, I can't get him off my mind now.
I love it. And now you can't get about your baby in your house, girl. You lock them down, baby. So
Okay.
cheers to stalking the ninja. Every now and then you have to do a little stalking. Okay. Okay, let's do one more before we wrap up.
Okay.
Conquer or cocktails.
We can do a conquer.
Okay. When was the last time you cried?
Um, Today
Mm,
I'm a crier.
mm.
I'm a crier. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad.
Me too, girl.
Yeah, I'll cry today just because I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I was crying this morning because I'm so thankful.
I love that.
Hmm.
I'm a crier too. I'm like, if we go somewhere, I will cry, and I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
if you invite me to your church, or you come to church, like I will be crying, but I'm okay. Or
Hmm.
if something good is going on, like if I just got off stage and I look like I will tear up. If
Hmm.
I see somebody else having a beautiful moment, baby, I went to a funeral. I don't even know these people, Chelsea. I
You're
know
balling.
I'm
That's me.
balling because this understand, girl. Like I am balling. Okay, so
Hmm.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Shout out to the happy tears.
Yes.
And may we have a lot of happy tears all 2025 for real.
Yes. I received that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you want to conquer this year?
I want to be more visible. Um, I came up with this thing. I want to be visible and consistent so that way I can be credible. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's good. Give it to us again.
I want to be visible and consistent so I can be credible. Yep. That's what I want this year.
I love it. Great conversation. Shout out to our very first guest on Conquering Cocktails. Oh no, let me talk about Conquering Cocktail. Lord, where my mind at?
Girl, look, I'm over here clapping like, yay.
Shout out to Chelsea for coming, for being her, for it being just responsive, loving, kind. She's a leader in my community and she truly does this in real life. And you truly have a heart for women. Like you
Yes.
truly have a heart for people. Even when we first talked, and I was
Mhm.
just like, girl, you're amazing. Like just get on live, just start tomorrow because you got everything you need. Like just go.
Mhm. You did. You did.
And I would I literally hollered out loud at your video the other day that you put on
Oh,
Facebook. Tell everybody, like, where can we find you online? How can we find out more about the climb? Are the applications open? Tell us more about it.
yes, yes. So the climb, it is a group cohort. So there are actually two segments. There's a segment for women in a 9 to 5 who just looking to transition
Mhm.
or maybe just looking to climb the ladder. There's also a segment for entrepreneur women who see the importance of needing a lucrative 9 to 5 and a flexible 9 to 5. And you need help, locating it. Um, it's 10 weeks.
That's so good.
We will meet every other week. It's going to be a lot of learning. So I won't be doing much, but teaching. I'll be doing a lot of teaching. You'll get some one-on-one help from me. There will be homework assignments. So we working the goals for 10 weeks. And I tell people it's a process, but working with someone, don't expect to get results tomorrow. You got to
Mhm.
keep working the process. So that's why I'm 2025. I'm teaching all 2025. That's it.
Mhm.
Um, But yes, applications are open. It starts January 27th. So I am taking limited women because I want it to be so much value in it. I don't want it to be too many ladies to where you can't get what you need to get out of it. So you can find an application on you can follow me on Chelsea Hampton on Facebook and my business page on Facebook, Careers Equipped, IG Careers Equipped 22, and my LinkedIn, Chelsea Hampton, but um in the middle is Careers Equipped. So
Mhm.
yes, follow me if you know somebody who need services or need help or just want to talk. Um, reach out to me. I do strategy calls, discovery calls, just to talk, just to see if I'm the person for you, because not everybody is for you.
Right.
So yeah,
Go, girl. All
yes.
right, ladies, that is the end of our episode. So I will see y'all next week on Conquer Conversations. And shout out to our first guest. And make sure y'all follow Chelsea online. Bye, ladies.